Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're gonna review the Caldigit TS3 Plus Thunderbolt 3 dock. This is a very versatile dock. We got it in space grade, works for Mac and PC. And I'm going to, I'm gonna have a look at that, show you all the capabilities and connections it has. And then at the very end, we're gonna discuss why you might need it more than you think, especially if you're a Mac user or a Windows user who doesn't have that many connections on their laptop. And see these dongles here, and we're gonna discuss why it might be a good idea to do this versus this, all right? This versus this. All right, so this is a very small sized package here. Even the package is pretty small, and we're gonna take really quickly, which you probably already know, and I'm gonna put the link down there for more information. You have 15 connections. My MacBook Pro has only 4. You have Gigabit Ethernet. You have digital audio, which is pretty cool. You have, it charges your device, so it charges your laptop with up to 85 watts. 85 watts. Many stations only give you 60 watts. On a 15-inch MacBook Pro, that is not enough. On a 13-inch MacBook Pro, that would be enough. You have Thunderbolt 3 dual ports, so not just an in port, it also has an out port, so you're not blowing, you're not blocking that one port. It has a card reader built in. It's made out of aluminum. It's got a headphone jack, and it's got USB-C and USB full-size USB options. So this is pretty cool. Let's have a look. All right, we have a chance to win sweepstakes. Very cool. What do we have here? This is all right. This is a dampener for if you want to lay it flat. Very cool. It comes with a Thunderbolt 3 connection cable. They are quite expensive. Thank you very much for that. Here is the power cable. Thank you for that. And here is the charger. And so this will give enough juice to the station. It's not being powered by a laptop, so the station itself, the dock I should say, has enough power, and so you're not going to be blocking one port with this. This normally on a MacBook Pro blocks already one port, and so we can do away with this, keep it in our bag for traveling, and just plug in with one cable here, right, into the dock, this Thunderbolt 3 cable, and then do all our connectivities from there. All right, so if we pull this out, this is even smaller. There you go. It is pretty tiny. Let's have a look. Wow, I like this. I'm seeing this for the first time. Here we go. See how small this is. So in comparison, what do we have here? We have a MacBook, a Mac keyboard. So this is about the size. This is the size of a tiny hard drive. This is about the size of a regular hard drive. So it's about the size of a conventional drive. And there it is. Let me turn off the funny lights here. This is actually a musical instrument. Here we have the connections, the SD reader, headphone out, optical out, and a USB-C right here, and a regular USB 3.0. They both run at 5 gigabits per second, so normal USB-C ports, USB 3.1 run at 10 gigabits per second, both here at 5 gigabits per second, but that's compared to, compared to 480 megabits per second on a USB 2.0 connection. This is plenty fast. Now here it gets really interesting. Look at this. Look at the connections that we have here, right? This is for the power, so you connect the power brick. The power brick itself is bigger than the Caldigit, right? Not a problem, it goes underneath the table. Yes, in order to supply 85 watts, you need a pretty solid power supply. Ethernet, very good. Optical, here we go. USB, this is a USB-C with 10 gigabits per second. And then we have two more USB 3.0 with 5 gigabits per second. It's actually 3, it seems like my bad, 4. This is a staggering amount. We got 4 in the back, 5 in the front, so we got 2 USB-Cs and 5 USB 3.0s. That's pretty crazy. We have a DisplayPort here, Thunderbolt out, and here we go, Thunderbolt connection in, right, from the computer. So this is pretty straightforward. All right, so what do we have here? It replaces Thunderbolt to Ethernet or USB-C to Ethernet, depending on what you have. It replaces USB-C to regular USB, all of these connections, and it replaces this dongle here, USB, here I have one to my monitor. So in this case, it would replace a USB-C to DisplayPort. It doesn't have HDMI, but HDMI can easily be remedied with this one here. This is an HDMI, USB-C to HDMI. So not a problem. I wish it would have also HDMI on this one, on this Caldigit dock. And yeah, from there we go into the monitor. And the interesting thing with DisplayPort or HDMI is that this monitor is a 4K monitor. It doesn't do 60 Hertz with HDMI, so it wants a DisplayPort. Most monitors do 60 Hertz with HDMI 2.0. This one just doesn't. So this is all good. Why would you need it? If we look at a 15-inch MacBook Pro or a 13-inch MacBook Pro, as we have it here, they all come with 4 Thunderbolt 3 connections, or in the USB-C form factor, and for all intents and purposes are USB-C ports, right? Well, that's great. I got 4 ports. I can use USB-C. Cool. What are you missing here? Well, if you go back a couple of generations, 2015, the previous Macs, they had I think 7 connections. So you had one for power, you had an HDMI, you had a headphone output, I don't count that, you had 2 USBs, and you had 2 Thunderbolts. So if you add all that up, that's way more, because here, with power, we're already losing one just for power. Here, I go in the back, I have a USB 3.0 dock, right? So we're losing one here. That leaves me, here I have 2 audio interfaces, right? This is Arrow, and they run with Thunderbolt. So I do rely on a direct connection to go in here, right? So that blocks one port. And then I do have a portable SSD drive here, a flash drive. And I could put that in the back. It works just fine. I already disconnected it, so I can safely pull it out. And then I still have an HDMI or a DisplayPort going into the monitor. And that doesn't even factor in, I might need USB-C to Ethernet. So tons of dongles. They're not that expensive anymore. You can get them for about, $5-10 and so forth. But still, it adds up, and the complications of having to juggle connections and so forth is just annoying. For example, here I have another backup drive, right, that is connected. And then I have this. This is an audio amplifier. It uses USB, and it doesn't like to go through one of these port replicators. Also, it has an optical input, so I could go from here directly in here. So this, being as small as it is, fitting in the palm of your hand almost, is really a helpful device. The price right now is around $300. Much better in terms of reviews and functionality than the OWC and other brands. It's up for debate. I might pick a runner-up and put it in the description. If you have a 15-inch, you need 85 watts. If you have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, you're okay with 60 watts. But if you buy, like a dock for $200 and only delivers 60 watts, you're constantly draining your laptop, especially under load. So I have a USB device here, I have a USB device here. All of that also needs power, right? So you could use this. This is a USB 3.0 hub built in, but the downside is that I did measurements, and it only shows up in the operating system as a 2.0 hub, so 480 megabits per second. So there are compelling reasons. So you have just one of these. And hey, in the back too, what do I have? This. I need to put this in here to have a card reader. So because if I would take it like USB-C card reader would block another port. So some of the Windows machines have more ports. They have USB-C, they have USB 3.0, they have an Ethernet port. They do have HDMI out, they have VGA out. That's great, but that also makes them this thick. And then other people complain about, you know, form factor and so forth. So I think what I would want probably from a MacBook Pro would, especially if you block one port with charging, give us on a 15-inch MacBook Pro, at least give us maybe 2 more 6 ports, 6 Thunderbolt 3 ports. That would really alleviate the situation, and maybe do away with one of the docks. You can strap dongles on it. There are USB-C port replicators that you can use. I have that too. That works to a degree, but sometimes, you know, if you pass, certain signals don't go through them. So, for example, if you have, if it acts as a USB-C and then you add another dongle to the dongle, you lose something. So there are limits to that. So let's just set it up and connect it. I hope I made a compelling reason why you would want to buy this. Cool. All right, I'm going to set it up. All right, here it is. It's brushed aluminum, and it's in space gray, a little bit lighter than the MacBook Pro space gray, but it is gray. Let's see. This is a rubber bottom, so if you want to stand it up, that works very well. Or you could mount the dampeners, the rubber strips here, and then put it flat down so it doesn't scratch anything or get scratched. There we go. Have a good look. All right, so first step is we want to use the included Thunderbolt cable. And how do you know it is a Thunderbolt cable? Because it has this symbol here, right? So it's not a USB-C cable. It just shares the same form factor. We want to connect it here. So what does it say here, right? Computer, right? So we put that in here where it says computer and stand it back up, and then take this cable and connect it here with the MacBook Pro. The benefit of these cables, which is really cool, there's no up or down, right? Anyway, there you go, and there it is. So let's first see if the machine gets a charge. Yep, it is charging. So right here, forgive me. All right, so now let's hook up, also in space gray, highly recommended. I'll put the link below, the Samsung Shirt Pocket external SSD. You can get them in 512 gigs, 1 gigs, and even 2 gigs. Excellent. And here we go. It's blinking, so it is connecting. Excellent. Let's double check if it is indeed. Yep, and the drive just mounted. Fantastic. One of the things with the devices is that you always want to test if it's actually working. A lot of these docks, they advertise it as, you know, working, but they don't. So I'm going to use the SD card here, put the SD card in here from my trusted Nikon. It has a nice click to it, a bounce. And here you go, Nikon D750 has just shown up, so that works as well. Great. Let's connect a few more devices. Oh, and what I just realized, I put the USB-C flash into the Thunderbolt connection. That's great, but we don't need to block a Thunderbolt port. I actually wanted to reserve the Thunderbolt port for my audio interface. You can't go wrong with that. You can only go wrong the other way around where it wouldn't work. So let me eject that quickly and put it into the USB-C. Yep, and it mounted right away without a hissy fit. And then I have a backup drive here that's partitioned. I don't know, a couple of terabytes or so. So a backup drive, a portable drive. What else can we connect? Oh, let's connect all these USB devices, the monitor, and let's connect this Thunderbolt interface. All right, guys, so here we have it. Here it is. Everything is connected. That's quite a lot, isn't it? With just one cable on the MacBook Pro. We're talking about the Caldigit Thunderbolt 3 dock, which is quite tiny and is able to tie all of this together. So So we added the DisplayPort and immediately came back at 4K at 60 Hertz, something the HDMI connection in this case wasn't able to do. Shouldn't happen, but happened. So we need a DisplayPort. So if you have a MacBook Pro or any Windows machine on the go, you connect to here, you charge, and you leave everything behind. In fact, we can even connect headphones such as this and leave them connected for when we're coming back. And they show up here in the sound preferences. Let me dim this a little bit because it's so bright. Here you go. They show up very well, and this works as well with 60 Hertz. So that's a double winner here. This Thunderbolt device here also shows up. That means that the Thunderbolt connection here coming out of this is also working as a Thunderbolt. It's fantastic. And we still have a USB-C connection in the front in a regular USB 3.0 connection available. And look at this, we even have one more USB available. So with everything that's going on, this USB controller, this USB controller, a monitor, charging, a Thunderbolt 3 device, a card, an SD card. There's so much going on here, and all of this is working, and the machine is charging. So in my book, this is it. Go get it. That was maybe a little bit of a lengthy review. I haven't been doing a review for quite a while. I hope you forgive me for being a bit wordy. I'm trying my best. Yeah, so I can recommend this. If anything pops up and doesn't work over time, I'll check in with you. And, you know, I'm going to figure out where I'm going to set this up. This might fit. It's so small, it might fit under the laptop on my stand here. This is Tech Reviews Out.